And so this Catholic Mass on Saturday night, which is, it's a conference, and Saturday night's the big night, they have a Mass during that time. This is catering to the Catholic Church to sell music.
Saturday night Mass, because they've been doing that for a long time.
Brings me to something that I've been kicking around for a while.
Yep.
In our music services, I'm thinking about cutting out all Hillsong music.
I think we should.
I think we should ban it from our church.
I think we should ban it.
Now, what is that exactly? I'm not too
Hillsong?
Well,
It's the worship music that they put out, like Shouts to the Lord, for example.
Hillsong was one of the foundations of the new worship music.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they're the main.
Right, but were they kind of hijacked, or was it something that they...
No, they were not hijacked. And they started out in 1983,
Where did it come from? Australia? Was it?
Yeah,
Australia.
And
Australia.
Darlene Check.
Yeah, Darlene Check left Hillsong because of what they turned into, though. But
Brian somebody.
I can't remember what the preacher's name is, but
anyhow, he was...
Brian Houston.
Brian Houston. Brian Houston. He started in 1983, if I'm not mistaken, and he has always been pro LGBTQ.
What's that?
Gay.
Gay.
Pro gay.
Gay, transgender.
Well, and see, here's the thing. He's not pro gay, but he doesn't speak against homosexuality. That's what it is.
it's
You can do what you do in your house.
It's kind of like an old saying, don't speak against sin.
Well, and here's the thing.
He's leading people.
That has become the standard for mega churches.
Yeah.
It's like, don't ask, don't tell.
And you hear a lot of people say that. They say, whatever they do, that's their business. I'm just not, they're not going, say.
And be inclusive.
Be loving.
And be inclusive.
For diversity,
it's that positive thing that's going around, Everything is positive, everything. You have to be happy all the time. Ain't nobody happy all the time.
In fact, if you read the stories of homosexuals...
That's true.
Nobody.
Suicide rate nation.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I just read a post not too long about
Then if you're not happy all the
somebody
time,
that we know that's going to prison pretty soon. Came from our church, came from this church, tore up lives like a wake of a tidal wave. I'm telling you, there is so much controversy over that one person right now that I haven't seen in decades.
Right.
I saw.
You saw too.
I saw it, yeah. Did you see what I said?
I almost threw up.
Did you see what I said? Well, I didn't even know. I haven't seen anything.
Oh, you don't want to.
Praise God.
Yeah.
All blessings for Don't see anything.
Pope called new Catholic theology curriculum teaching students to view Muslims as brothers. The Pope says we need new theology curriculum for our schools.
We need new money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
We want a Vatican blowing up for the Catholic possible.
And I showed Kathy these two. This is from Presbyterian USA. The building caretaker of a Presbyterian church in Cincinnati, Ohio, dressed up in drag and read a book in scheduled children's time during the Sunday, June 16th worship service. The Cincinnati Enquirer reports Dan Davidson dressed up as sparkly, complete with purple dress, makeup, high heels, and glitter beard, and stood at Mount Auburn Presbyterian Church door, greeting members. He was the greeter. Following the song, God Welcomes All, by the church choir, Davidson walked up on the stage and read the book Pride, Story of Harvey Milk and the Rainbow Flag.
And nobody stood up.
Yes, they did.
Somebody stood up and laughed, stood up and said something.
The story was intended for children, some of who sat at Davidson's feet during the reading. Harvey dreamed that everyone, even gay people, would have equality. Davidson read. He dreamed that one day people would be able to live, love as they pleased. Davidson has performed as drag queen in Seattle, Washington before he moved to Ohio last month, according to the newspapers. At another point during the service, a man stood up and told the audience the story of his coming out.
No, that isn't standing up I showed him about. That isn't what I was talking
So
about.
basically, the circus got hijacked for this gay pride thing.
That's today's society, something else.
So here's the guy, he's got a beard, looks quite the sight.
I'm envisioning.
No.
No.
Don't want to.
You know, he is a Presbyterian pastor
want to
Yeah.
He's
see
a
the
minister.
side of
They
Jesus and the whip
ordained that thing.
inside the place where he drove people out ahead of him. Well, you know what? If we don't chase them out of the church, they can't. It's like putting bad fruit with
Chase
good
them
fruit.
out.
It won't turn them into good fruit.
Well, how do you expect,
Rotten the good fruit.
how do you expect it to throw 20% of Christians don't even read the Bibles, they don't even know what it's about.
Okay, and one more, also with the United Presbyterians, not picking on them, I just happened to find this.
Pray.
The United Presbyterian Church USA ordained its first non-binary gender minister.
Wonderful.
Who? What?
They ordained their first non-binary minister.
Another computer.
Well, no. He's neither male nor female. This is what he
It's a
claimed.
robot like?
Oh.
This is what he claimed.
Transsexual
So
robot?
they ordained a first priest that was neither male nor female. Now, what's significant about this is a couple of things.
Hell. Oh.
Is that the Buddhists are going to robotics for priests in Japan.
Asian, yeah.
So, but remember how the Antichrist will have no affection towards women, no natural affections. It says toward no natural affections. So we've always interpreted this as that he perhaps is just too busy to be involved, which I don't think is the case, but that he would be homosexual. But here is a new twist.
Yeah.
He can be non-binary. He can be asexual.
So he's a robot.
Well, he's not a robot.
He's a person, he's just a
It's a person.
He'll be male one day and female the next.
Because they won't have anywhere to go to the bathroom. Gotta be, you gotta make this choice, and if he can't, then he can't go.
Well, they'll have to be forced by law to have a family, what they call a family.
Yeah, they do have those.
They'll
At
be
Walmart.
But
Except
the trees around. Bunch of good babies.
Except Lenny, they could have colostomy bags.
Have what?
They could have bags.
Oh, how much fun that is, huh?
Yeah.
But anyhow,
You don't remember that?
not only are we ordaining gay ministers, now we're ordaining ministers that are neither male nor female. That's what they claim.
Okie dokie.
So, back in the 80s,
In other words,
how bad would people have to get in order for God to release the wrath that he's going to release on us? I don't have to worry about that anymore.
I think we're already there.
Yes.
Okay, so, it's, you shouldn't allow them in, because it says that we're supposed to separate ourselves from these people.
Come on.
The church is for the building up of the believers.
Strengthen each other.
and to send them out,
Yes.
to send them out, it's not for people coming in. We're supposed to separate from them. So those people should be separated if they're living in that particular thing.
If they're willing to repent, maybe
If they're living in it, then they shouldn't be allowed, if they're living in it.
It sounds like a radical idea, but really, it's
Yeah.
going to come to that. If people are not
Because
willing
true
to...
believers are going to be, all, kind of together. They may not be together in the same place, but they're going to have the same, they're going to be total believers in Christ, not
This is the way I
this
believe.
or not that.
I believe
This is
that...
going to be straight.
I
This
believe
is
that
the way it
Christians in the
is.
last days
Mm-hmm.
are going to be so full of Christ
Yeah.
that non-believers won't be able to stand and be around them if they aren't willing to change.
Right. That's,
Yeah. And those that are willing to change will be drawn to them.
Yeah.
They had one in the book of Revelation, and it says, and those people not affected by the pestilence did not turn from their satanic involvements and their homosexuality and immorality and all this, a whole bunch of stuff. And then eventually down the line, they worship the image, the beast, and the image of the beast, and then they receive the mark, and then it goes on, then they're basically doing. So it's a progression.
So if someone is changing or is willing to change, then they should be brought in, and then they should be discipled.
Yeah,
Discipled.
right.
That happens.
According-
That happens.
Right, but
That happens.
yeah, but not according to the Supreme Court, not allowed anymore.
And you
They made a decision this week.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that
Why
if you go into your churches and talk to somebody who's a homosexual, turn them around.
No, if they're already turning to Christ
Right.
and they come to you, then they're supposed to be discipled and brought back into the
Right,
fold.
but the government don't.
That's what it's supposed to
Hold
be.
it.
I don't care about the government.
Well, I know the government don't, I know the
The
government.
government has nothing to say.
Oh, yes, they do.
No, they don't if somebody changes and goes in on their own. I'm not talking about somebody that's continuing.
No.
No.
Hold it.
No.
Any council.
No.
Any council.
No.
That concludes this edition of The Last 7 Days. Opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Spreaker or GJRB. Join us next time here on Spreaker for another podcast of The Last 7 Days on GJRB. This is the GJRB Online Network.
Now, GJRB brings you Way Out There. This is the show that talks about the weird, the bizarre, the unusual. From UFOs to paranormal to near-death experiences to government conspiracies. This is the place to listen to for the truth. Now, here's Gary Russell.
And hello everyone, hello everywhere across America and around the world. I'm Gary J. Russin. And we don't need that on at this point. Thank you. Welcome to Way Out There. It's been a while since we did this program. Welcome to Way Out There, the show that talks about the strange, the unusual, the things that go bump in the night. Yeah, we're back on the air. Haven't done it for a while. The show hasn't been on since April 26th. So it seems like forever since I've had this show on, and I don't know why. I mean, I try to get all my programs on regularly, and this is what my struggle is right now with my program schedule. And I'm going to be talking about that throughout the show today, especially later on. But basically what's going to happen is a lot of the programs that have been airing on GJRB Online have not aired since God knows when, are going to just be pulled for a while because I don't have time to produce them. I have no time to get them together. So I am working on a new plan. Now, the schedule update podcast and the video that I was going to do with it, I'm going to scrap it. Mainly because it's not working either. Too many shows, too many programs on the air, too many to shuffle, too much confusion, and I don't think people are going to understand it. So I've been making it too complicated every time. So I'm going to make a new GJRB schedule update podcast. I'm going to delete that one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 10 shows, let's say about 10 to 20. I'm going to go 20, even to 20. I'm going to take the 20 top GJRB shows, the ones that pretty much get some hits, and some that pretty much, I'm getting listeners on. And the rest of the programs are going to go on a hiatus. Some of the major programs, some of the other programs that I've not aired for a while, they've been on hiatus for now, so I might as well stay there. Some of the programs which I launched this year so far, Music and Memories, and the other show which was aired last October, that was the Radioland Time Warp. Those shows are going to stay away for a while until I can build up a series of programs. Because at this point right now, I'm thinking those shows won't work unless they're pre-written. The other show, Up and Coming, which we're going to have on the air, I'm going to work on for next week. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking next Friday will be Up and Coming. We're going to start as a weekend program. That is a show dedicated to new emerging artists. And so we're going to put that on next week. Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock Central next week, right here on GJRB Online. So I'm promoting that program. I want to get that on the air this month. That is the New Emerging Artist Show, where I dedicate it to all new music artists. That program will be on the air next Friday. As a matter of fact, I posted that on my on that template calendar. Now, that template calendar I'll probably still use, and maybe, but I'm going to scrap the odd even because I know that that's not going to work. I want a tight radio schedule. So far, we have built a radio schedule puzzle that has been working pretty good, and that was the Gary J in the Morning on Tuesday mornings, and the Gary Rustin program Saturday Extra on Saturday afternoon, which is going to get shuffled with weekend music, and that would include the weekend music of the oldies and the jazz and all those, but also the Bluegrass Jubilee and the Blues House. So those will stay intact. As a matter of fact, they'll probably end up back in their old time slots. The other shows that I intend on putting on, like I said before, I'm going to chalk it down to 20 programs that I'm going to keep on the air regularly. That's enough programs to put into a regular schedule. Okay, that's enough programs to have a regular schedule on. The rest of the programs are going to get put away and put on a schedule later on. I will kind of shuffle it. Now, I'm doing this because my wife was telling me the other night, what a neat idea to just do it shuffle it around like the TV networks do. MeTV, they have certain shows they put on the air and then they go away for a while. And then they come back. And then they go away for a while because it's a rerun channel, Some programs on HG go away for a while, like the Property Brothers, the other programs like that, and then they come back. Pretty much with so many shows that I have on the GJRB Spreaker schedule, some programs are going to be highlighted to come back, and then some shows will not. Swing Time, for example, Radioland Time Warp, Music and Memories. Some of those programs, although I'm thinking about putting Music and Memories on the schedule because I like that. Crooners will stay on the air too. They'll stay on the air with radio, television, and movie classics and all that. And I'll talk about those later in the program. So I'm not going to really kind of highlight them on now, but I'll put them in later in the show. Meanwhile, I want to talk about some stuff that we're going to accomplish here today. This program here, Way Out There, is always heard the third weekend of the month. It's going to stay in that time slot, along with the one you just heard the last 7 days. That will stay in the third week of the month, okay, with alternate rotation, with alternate reruns. They'll still be rerun a lot of times throughout the week on our schedule as we slowly piece that puzzle together. So I'm going to sit down and on a half sheet of paper and decide, okay, this is the shows that are going to be the top 20 programs that will be on the air on Spreaker. Okay, like music, top 20. The top 20 programs that I think get the most in hits. And this one I want to keep because I love the do Way Out There. I might have more shows depending on how many hits I get. I might put another show on maybe in the month. Because we're going to still keep it spontaneous. We're going to be on the air a lot more often. Like I said, I'm trying to get the 3-hour plan. I see the 30% is going to still be up until today. As a matter of fact, I think it ends today. Unfortunately, I can't afford to do it again this month. So we're going to put away the $14 or whatever it is on that 30% plan and set it up for the next discount. So I want to hope that the next discount comes up real soon so that I can plan on getting that launched. Otherwise, we're going to still, I'm still going to spread out my 45 minutes so that we can be on the air longer. Because, like I said before, it's just a matter of working this out and making it work. Because it's getting to a point where I'm trying to figure out how this is all going to work itself out. I'm hoping that we can get this to work. I really do. But anyway, what we'll do right now is to break and get things started with some news, and then we've got some more interesting stuff to talk about. Got some real neat stuff to talk about today, so I hope you'll stay with me. The Gary Russin program tomorrow, I'll talk about that too. Saturday Extra back on the air tomorrow. I'll really get Ben on. And a whole lot more coming up as we continue Way Out There on GJRB Online. So I hope you'll stay with me for all the good stuff. Got a lot of really fun stuff. We'll start with the news, a news brief, and then we'll do Strange But True coming up. So stay with me. This is the GJRB Online Network. I'm Gary Rustin. This is Way Out There.
About a new
And welcome back to Way Out There on GJRB Online. I'm Gary J. Russin. Welcome to our show here on Spreaker across America. We've got some strange stuff to talk about today. Got some interesting stories coming up a little later on. We'll have slap ham and weird stories that are like kind of strange in a bizarre sort of way. Little stories about strange creatures and sewers and different things like that coming up a little later on. And got some more interesting stories to pass along to you here on Way Out There on GJRB Online. But first, let's take a look at some news going on and see what's happening worldwide. President Trump announced today that this evening he would nominate Eugene Scalia. Now, he's the son of the former Supreme Court Justice Antoine Scalia, who led the Labor Department. He's going to take over that role. President Trump said in a tweet that I'm pleased to announce that this is my intention to nominate Gene Scalia as the new Secretary of Labor. Gene has led a life of a great success in the legal and labor field and highly expected not only as a lawyer, but as a lawyer with great experience. and great success on that legal field. Highly respected, and not only that, is a lawyer with great experience. So Eugene Scalela, he's 55, and is a partner in the firm Gibson, Dunn, and Crutcher, and is a member of the former co-chairman of his labor and employment practice group. He also co-chairs the firm's administration law and regulatory practice group. The younger Scalela is survived by the Solicitor of Labor Department 2002-2003 after his appointment by former President George W. Bush. So he's going to take over that role. And real good there. And meanwhile, there's an earthquake in Greece. As a matter of fact, in Athens, one of the historical cities. Panic struck. It was a major. I don't know if it's a major quake, but it did shake up, causing a widespread panic. It was a 5.1 magnitude earthquake. Let's see here if we have the top audio on the live story, but it's not there. It looks like I am not getting it. So let me see if we can get to the top of the page. It gave me a different story. Here it is. 5.1 quake in Athens, Friday, knocking out phone connections and damaging buildings and causing power outages. And panicked residents also rushed to the streets. State TV there says reported at least 2 people were hurt. And with that, and it's annoying music. Don't like that kind of stuff on my show. Anyway, terrible quake. And causing extensive damage there. So we're going to follow and see. Look at all the widespread earthquakes we've been having lately, especially since California's one, especially since Ridgecrest, California on July 4th. Look at the earthquakes we've been having since then. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? And you know about Robert Flick? He's a 77-year-old deemed too old to murder. You believe that? Yeah. Judges are saying this guy is too old to be put in prison for murder. Yet he was known to have already somebody else that did some other damage to people. But yet this guy apparently is too old to go to prison for murder, according to a judge. Yeah. How about that? This guy, this is amazing. I can't stress how dumb this sounds. He is too old to go to prison, and yet he has already been known to have murdered some more people. Or done some more. I mean, this is weird. Listen to this report.
A 77-year-old man who spent decades in prison for stabbing his wife to death got out of jail after being deemed too old to be dangerous. But that was far from the case. This week in Maine, jurors convicted Albert Flick for stabbing a woman to death last year in front of her twin sons. Flick was freed from prison in 2004 and sent back 6 years later for assaulting another woman. But the judge in that case refused to give Flick a longer sentence because, as he put it, Flick would not be a threat because of his age. Carmen Roberts.
Yeah, because of his age. You say he's too old to be in prison. Come on, please, people. Oh, my goodness. Okay, you have to wonder about this, what people are thinking here. This judge says that this guy is too old to be put in prison. Okay? This plain sounds stupid. Okay? So he's not the threat to anybody because he is too old, but yet he was known to have been released from prison and tried to kill somebody else. Okay? The guy's dangerous, okay? No matter how you slice it, no matter how you put those little rose-colored glasses on, this guy is danger to a lot of people. So you're going to sit there and tell me now that this guy is not dangerous. He doesn't, come on now. I mean, really. I mean, you can't be that dumb. I mean, really. But apparently, I guess, whatever. We got some more interesting stories coming up. I hope you stay with me. You're listening to Way Out There on GJRB Online. We'll be getting started with our show here in just a little bit. Got some more interesting things to talk about in our program today, so I hope you'll stay around. We got some neat stories. Coming up, we got some more news stories that I want to talk about, and we're going to do our Strange But True coming up. Got some interesting stories about some haunted movie theater, which I know sometimes people don't talk about that, but, again, this is a theater possessed by demons. And another story about how about the volcano. We've been talking about the geyser. And we heard it before when we were on the air, just before we started. The geyser that supposedly could go off. And we're going to talk about that one. That's the one in Yellowstone National Park. And they say that it's in danger of blasting off. And if it does, any one of these programs that you're listening to on GJRB might be the last. Because then more than likely we won't be able to broadcast anything if, satellites are covered by soot and smoke from volcano, and we probably won't have a life anymore. Think about that one. So we'll get into that deal. Also coming up on our show today, we got a lot more interesting things coming up. You're listening to Way Out There on GJRB Online. I'm Gary J. Rustin. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll do Weather on the Fives coming up after the break. We're going to do a quick station identification. And then we'll be right back with more of Way Out There on GJRB Online here on Spreaker on the GJRB Online Network. We'll be right back. This is where you hear GJRB Online on FM. Spreaker FM 88.9. Yeah, we're kind of cutting out for some reason. I don't know. I'm going to have to clean out this computer one of these days. If I get a chance, I'm going to have to clean out some old shows. I need to get rid of a lot of old programs on here that I've had on for quite some time. And it looks like I've, some of the space on my memory, my virtual, my storage is starting to dwindle, so I'm going to have to get rid of some programs on here pretty quick because, it's getting full. So going to have to do something about that. Right now, though, let's do Weather on the Fives right now. And you're listening to an encore presentation of Way Out There, going back to last summer, as we're bringing that to you this afternoon. Not last summer, just this past summer, July 19th. So you're listening to an encore presentation from our July 19th show. And we're bringing you a look at Way Out There here on GJRB Online. So I hope you're enjoying the program. We'll continue with Way Out There after we do a little Weather on the Fives here. from the National Weather Service, so we're going to do that right now. My tablet quit, so I'm going to have to go into the National Weather Service here. And we have plenty of time to do that, about a little over 3.25 minutes, so we're good there. Let's take a look at what we got here as far as our weather on the 5s. Remnants of Imelda that will continue to produce some rainfall over the southeast. Texas on into Saturday. Flash flood watches. Warnings will continue along with that. Major flooding in area rivers, streams, low-lying areas. This will all continue. Strong to severe thunderstorms will impact the plains today, and that will then shift to the mid-Mississippi River Valley and the Midwest on Saturday, tomorrow. Heavy rainfall could then continue to have significant flash flooding. And we'll keep you on top of the flash flooding weather information throughout today's encore presentation. Way out there. Before I continue, I want to remind you that this program was recorded back on July 19th. It was a broadcast live program, and we're encore presenting it to you. So a lot of the information that I mentioned on here, a lot of the news information is old, but we'll try to get a current newscast on the air during this program. So just to let you know about that, we're going to work on that one and get a current newscast for you. But I want to remind you, first off, I was contacted by my friend Ben Ostman yesterday on Facebook, and he is unable to make it. So we're going to continue the Gary Russell program tomorrow. We're going to continue the Gary Russell program. We'll be on the air tomorrow live at 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time right here on Spreaker for the Gary Russell program Saturday Extra. I got some recap of this week's news, talk about some interesting stories, and maybe a guest or two will stop in. I know Blake Myers wanted to be on to talk about his trip on the Ragbri. We'll talk about that. And maybe even, let's see, we can get Ed Delgado on. Other than that, we'll have a pretty good show tomorrow, so tune in live 3 o'clock Central Time for the Gary Russell program Saturday Extra right here on GJRB Online. Until then, let's continue with Way Out There on GJRB Online Network. In this next half hour, we'll do Strange But True. A whole lot of other stuff. Now, Friday edition, we do Way Out GJRB Online. We'll be right back with more in just a moment.